Welcome back to UniSC Arena on the beautiful Sunshine Coast. Round 9 continues and it's a monster game here today. The Sunshine Coast Lightning sitting just outside that top 4, taking on the Melbourne Vixens, the buzzer beaters of last week. And the team's just being called out onto court now. Stacey Francis-Bayman in commentary with me. Sharon Finn-White will be on the sidelines picking up all the important information for you. And here's a reminder of our Woolworths team cards. The Melbourne Vixens, just the one change for their starting 7 this week. That is, of course, Emily Mannix in at goalkeeper. Olivia Lewis on the bench with Hannah Mundy and Kim Borja. There's Kira Austin. She was the hero last week, wasn't she? And here come the Sunshine Coast Lightning, the home side, and listen to the roar. Let's have a look at their Woolworths team card, Stace.
Yeah, we're seeing a familiar lineup there from the Lightning, and it's absolutely a team that they've been able to rely on to start their games well for them. But what we really want to see from them today, and I think what they want to see more importantly, is that ability to carry that through to the rest of the match.
That is going to be one of the great matchups of the game. We've already spoken about it in our pre-game. Jo Weston, Steph Wood, the two Australian Diamonds. And here comes our ball deliverer, the Sunshine Coast Lightning, supporting Donate Life and encouraging all Australians to talk about organ and tissue donation. Such a great cause, and we're underway here. Super Sunday of netball. And Steph Wood straight into the action. Well, already you can see the impact of Emily Mannix, can't you, shutting down that movement of Cara Conan.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that actually was an excellent centre pass from Lightning. They had great depth on second phase. Wood was beautiful feed from her there. She was in fantastic feeding position on the circle edge, but it wasn't able to go in on that one-on-one.
Well, the first ones to strike are the Lightning. Isn't that fitting? Melbourne Vixens. How will they respond? Great finishes. Start's not been too bad. Their second quarters have not been their best though, so both sides will be wanting to change their fate a little as we get closer to finals. From Wenda, first one is a good one.
A lovely first look at the zone that Lightning were throwing on defensively there to try and, I assume, win ball early off the Vixens and get them to fall into some of their traps.
Some of their traps, spoken like a true defender. Is that what you call them?
It's ambitious language for hopefully really great results.
Well, looking in complete control here, aren't they, the Sunshine Coast Lightning? Really sharp in attack. Ball in the hands for just 1 second or so. That's the first tip for Jo Weston. And she's going to be a real tagger today, isn't she? Her job to just tire out Steph Wood and minimise her impact in creating a lot of the play space.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's in and around everything there. Fantastic tip by Weston, causing an error from Conan, and they're back on the attack already.
Here's the Harvey Norman replay. Not the best ball, but Jo Weston got a little tip to it. Austin, the MVP last week. Well, good couple of swings there and a little short one between Watson and Maloney. And Kamwenda, 2 from 2 to start the game for her. And it's the Vixen centre pass, so they can get themselves an early little break here.
Oh, unfortunate timing there by Dehaney, but she's absolutely up and about out there hunting.
Well, question for you. How worth is it going for those balls early in the game, or should you just really stay and nullify your own opponent?
For me, that one was absolutely gettable. I think the situations do change as it goes along, but absolutely have a crack at that. It's early in the game. You want to let the Vixens know that they're not going to be able to just throw that ball for 60 minutes. And we really don't see that from Vixens very often anyway.
Oh, well, there's a big win there from Mannix. Got back and got up beautifully, didn't she?
Absolutely warranting that start at the goalkeeper bib so far in this game, bringing physicality and a presence to get ball, which Vixens need.
And Mannix holding the record for intercepts in a game with 9. And she's got one already. Long ball, Weston, Austin. Not a miss on the court. Over the top we see Kira Austin Maloney, Austin. Watson, well, smart work. Tap it with the fingers to keep control. Kamwenda. 4 goals the difference, so what a blinding start from the Melbourne Vixens. Just a reminder, we mentioned in the pre-game, the strongest quarter for the Sunshine Coast Lightning is their first, and at the moment, they're being schooled in it.
Perhaps they'll take an average first quarter start if they can really rally and finish the game strong.
Great timing there, Maloney just waited for Liz Watson to make herself available. Maloney, Kamwenda. Back to Maloney, just wanting to get a smidge closer. Kira Austin, well, she was damaging from that distance, right when she needed to be last week. Miller. Steph Wood, you'll find her with the ball in hand a lot. Sherry into Wood. Yeah, Steph Wood not happy to take that shot from distance either, so both sides really wanting to make sure of it early, aren't they?
Yeah, I was surprised to see her pass off then. I think, a call there by the umpire to give possession back to the Vixens. So the risk is that if you continue to play around with the ball and you've not put a shot up, then the turnover can happen.
Yeah, it's one of my pet hates, and I'm sure everyone listening would know that. I'm generally pretty vocal about it. But what we did see from that take is just how dogged Jo Weston is prepared to be. She threw herself on the ball, made sure that call was going no other way but hers.
Yeah, Vixens historically are fantastic on the loose balls and pickups. They chase everything down. They're always there to back each other up, and they were fantastic at that last week as well, and they did it across the whole game.
First time out of the game, the HCF tactical timeout going the way of the Sunshine Coast Lightning, and Belinda Reynolds, well, she wants to stop this Vixen side getting any further away. Currently up by the 7. Let's have a listen.
We need to get off the long line, so using our prelims, take them somewhere and change your line. Get off the long runs. Person with ball in hand, get your hips around quicker so we can either connect on that. If not, use your fakes and go somewhere else. Yes? If you're not used, we need to get out. Remember to stretch their defence. Keep them away from each other, even if we have to come. The first play, we worked it till it opened up. We can have patience, yes? Keep working that gear 3, gear 4. In defence, starting positions. We're getting there. So be on the body, but run the line of the ball. Yes? All right. Let's reset. Our game plan. Put ultimate pressure on there. Hands on everything. Second efforts. Let's go. Let's go. Great. 1, 2, 3.
Stacey, pretty clear. She wants all the work in attack just to be a bit more clinical.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think she's happy for the game to go at different speeds and different tempos. If it's on, let the ball go. If they're covered, fake it. But show patience like they did to really build and craft that first goal.
Just while we were listening to Belinda Reynolds, we saw the Lightning's next 5 games. The good news for them, 3 of those games are teams below them on the ladder. So they really could have an impact in the second half of this season, as is Kamwenda having impact.
Yeah, absolutely right, but they do also need to topple 2 of the teams who are in the top 4 at the moment. So I guess confidence and brand they'll be able to potentially build against those lower ranked teams, but wins are most important.
Let's get down to Sharon Finnan-White, who had an ear into the Vixens huddle, but I also want to ask you off the back of it what you've made of Mannix's opening performance as we see her just get a brilliant tip there, Sharon.
Well, Kath, I was actually going to come to you just before the timeout and speak about that. I think Mannix is doing an exceptional job on Conan. We spoke earlier about what she was going to need to do to shut her down, and she's doing exactly that by shutting down that baseline drive, and any high ball that's coming in, she's getting a tip too. So Lightning are really going to have to look at the way they're delivering that ball into the circle. But Coach Simone McInnes was really happy with, obviously, Mannix and her pressure in the circle, as well as Weston. She just wants them a little bit closer on the body, and she's really happy with their ball movement.
She'd have to be happy with it, wouldn't she? 9-2 in this opening quarter. Well, Kamwenda had a look at it, changed her mind, but an opportunity here to make that 10-2. Wouldn't that be an incredible start for the Melbourne Vixens? Quickly though, Stacey, on that, 2 goals to the Sunshine Coast Lightning. How much do you think is that just a defeated team after what's been a very emotional couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think it is an excellent point. You would be foolish not to acknowledge the amount of difficulty and adversity that they have had to face, and they do look to be a very close and supportive team, but it is going to take its toll.
Steph Wood won't want to be hearing any of that negative stuff from us. She'll want to just get the ball in control and turn this scoreline around. Here's Watson, Austin, Kamwenda out of the circle. And Kamwenda happy to do a lot of the double plays, isn't she?
Yeah, I was going to say, we have seen her out and about in this first quarter a lot already, and she's keeping Dehaney on the move and really separating that partnership and the strength of Pretorius and Dehaney as we see them come up with the ball.
Well, that's a big win, isn't it? One of the few wins, or the only win for the Sunshine Coast Lightning at the start of this quarter, so they desperately need to score off it. That's a given. Got to start to narrow this gap, otherwise there's going to be immediate pressure on Steph Wood in the Power 5 time. There she is, Steph Wood. Over the top, and through the hands. So, Em Mannix, what a start to the game, Stacey.
She is living rent-free in Cara Conan's head so far.
Living rent-free.
But lots of the game ahead of us, but Mannix has absolutely started the game well. As we can see there, the whole match leaders of miss and net points is occupied by the Vixens, and Em Mannix is rightly so sitting at the top of that team, but Lightning have come up there with a really important small win and able to get back in possession of the ball.
Well, it's their second small win that they've had. Didn't capitalise on the first one, so what can they do with this one? Here's the Harvey Norman replay over the top. Cassidy with the tip. Oh, again,
wow.
Just trying to force it. Emily Mannix.
The Lightning ability to transition into defence is good, but ideally they really want to be capitalising off of the possession that they're being given at the moment.
And how sharp is the ball work for the Melbourne Vixens? We just saw a beautiful shoulder pass right to the middle and the top of the circle.
They all are looking pretty undisturbed at the moment. Vixens are letting the ball go on 0.5 of a second and are feeling confident with each other.
Over the top again, Cara Conan takes it, but again under enormous pressure from this Melbourne Vixens defence line. That's a better one. A little bit of deception on the pass may be the key, whether that be a balk or a look-away pass. At the moment, Melbourne Vixens are just reading it all too clearly. And Wenda, the big swing to the other side of the circle, but Maloney needed someone driving at it. Kira Austin, balanced, kept it in. Well, it's almost like Kamwenda's turned into Austin tonight, isn't it? She's the one out of the circle. She's the one creating the play. And look at this first quarter score already, and 5 minutes to play. That's the siren you just heard for the Power 5. Well, surely they've got to get to Steph Wood now, Stacey.
Yeah, absolutely right. And thrown possession away again there. For me, that was unforced, but it's the pressure of the match, and it's not perceived, it's real. Vixens are out there with an intent to win, to stay that they are top 4 quality.
4 balls forced into Cara Conan that have gone begging. Surely you need Steph Wood just to get in there and mix it up now.
Yeah, I think they're usually very comfortable to have Cara leaving the circle and Steph entering, so I think I'd like to see a couple of positional switches, or even Cara leaving, doing some work to get rid of Em outside the circle and taking on those lovely baseline drives that we have seen this season.
Kamwenda again. Well, Kira Austin, she wants to just make this margin that little bit bigger, and she does. The first Suncorp super shot of the game, 14-4. Well, I don't know that anyone would have predicted an opening quarter like this one. And they can really stretch it out again, can't they?
Kamwenda is absolutely full of beans today after that fantastic performance last week. She's the puppet master in that attacking unit at the minute, which is what we would typically see from a Liz.
And a reminder that those two know each other well, Kamwenda and Dehaney, ex-teammates. So they have trained on each other a lot, and they've thrown the ball away again here.
Good, fantastic persistence there, though, by Victoria. She was able to come up with the ball and She did throw it back into court and it was picked up by a Vixen, as we can see here in the Harvey Norman replay. However, she's straight back into it, not dwelling, knows that she needs to work and be on it for her team.
Long ball, Cara Conan out of the circle. Sherian. Oh, again, Emily Mannix. I don't know that I've seen a start to a game as rock solid as what she's giving us already. As I mentioned, that 9-goal intercept haul is a record in the Suncorp Super Netball. We've lost stats momentarily here, but I feel like she's on 8 already.
There's no doubt that she heard you and she said, game on, Kath, I'm going for double digits.
Wow, well, that would be a joy to watch. And it's also a point to prove to Simone McInnes, isn't it? Because she's been on the bench for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, and it's exactly what you want from your team. You don't want your players to be content sat on the bench. You want them to be working hard in training and pushing each other and elevating the team's success. And Mannix is showing you exactly what she's capable, and it doesn't take anything away from Liv Lewis's ability, but it makes the Vixens all that stronger.
Oh my gosh, again, well, what a game she's having. It is Fort Knox down there for the Sunshine Coast Lightning, still sitting on the 4 goals. You can see that Harvey Norman replay again. I'm a bit perplexed as to why they're continuing to throw that lob, though. It's clearly not working. Mannix is on fire.
Yeah, I think
Cara Conan is so good on that baseline dodge.
Yeah, I think the ball is in the air for too long and it's giving that opportunity to contest. And her strength isn't there today. She's not holding a strong one-on-one, and so you're right. I think there needs to be a bit more variety in what she's offering out there.
The last goal scored from the, well, another ball turned over. Let's hope the Sunshine Coast Lightning can get this one down safely.
Yeah, Carla Pretorius has got something to say about this. Oh dear.
Well, the last goal scored for the Sunshine Coast Lightning was at the 9-minute mark. We're now sitting at a minute to go. So 8 minutes they haven't scored here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning. That is of concern.
Putting themselves under extreme pressure. In comparison, you can see the Vixens scoring with great pace and consistency.
30 seconds to goal. Wow. Kamwenda had to think about it, chose not to. She's going to sit herself right under the post in the safe space, and they don't need any more than the ones at this point. 16-4.
Yeah, the Lightning unfortunately making a really high number of general play turnovers, but a lot of that is complete credit to the Vixens' defence and mostly to Ed Mannix.
Sherian. Oh, she is a woman possessed today.
She said, I can do both.
It.
I'm a tall goalkeeper, but don't think that you can bounce that ball down below me in the circle.
Oh, therefore, that is a timely Suncorp super shot. Gets them back to 10 right before the quarter-time break. Yeah, there it is, Kate Maloney, the smarts just to jog it in to the circle. Well, there it is, the first quarter done and dusted here on the Sunshine Coast. The Melbourne Vixens, 10 goals in front, can you believe it? It's 16-6.
Welcome back to Origin Energy quarter-time break. I have Laura Sherian's mum, Brenda Sherian here, also my former Firebirds coach. Firstly, happy Mother's Day. I'm sure it's not the first time you've spent Mother's Day at netball watching Laura play.
That's for sure. Like all mums, I think we tramps around, whether it be netball or football or whatever. But yes, we've spent many a time at the netball courts.
If it wasn't for you mums, I'm sure that our players wouldn't be able to, get to the games and do what they love to do. Putting on your coaching hat, not the start that Lightning would like to have had today. What do you think they're going to need to do to get back into this game?
Yeah, we certainly didn't start very well. At least at the end there, we finished with our 2 shots. I think that's important. We've just got to get our confidence back, I think, and release the ball when we see it. Now we're second-guessing ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see if they can do that in this next quarter, and thanks for your time and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sharon and thank you to Brenda as well. What a super mum, as all of the netball mums are out there. Well, Stace, I've got to come straight to you because the Sunshine Coast Lightning down by 11 and it looks like they've thrown the bibs in the air. There's one player in the same position as started the game.
Yeah, you're right. They have made a significant number of changes. They are looking for players to do a better job and have impact. We've seen that shuffle around of the diamonds in the shooting circle, with Wood going back in and Carla coming out in front. And Katie Haney off and Ash Irving on to take on the battle of coming up against Kamwenda.
Yeah, Carla Pretorius, the only one still in her original position. Ava Black in at wing defence. Cassidy has moved to the middle. Sherian has moved to the wing attack. Now, I agree something had to happen, but also it takes a while for a new lineup to settle, doesn't it? And there's been a lot of changes made. So do we expect that to happen in this quarter?
I think Lightning are a team that do make changes, and I think you have to back in that the team are capable of doing that and that you practice it and it will be seamless. That isn't necessarily always the case, but it will be what Coach Belinda Reynolds is absolutely wanting to see, an immediate change and impact on the scoreline.
Well, the Vixens' worst quarter is their second quarter, so that might bring a little bit of hope to the Sunshine Coast Lightning fans and their coach as well. Let's have a look at how this new team goes. Conan, well, she was being beaten, and pretty reasonably too, wasn't she, from M. Mannix? So the shift out to goal attack, I don't think a bad decision at all.
No, but I do think the players could have taken some ownership in the moment and done that organically in the positions that they were at previously. But beautiful shot there by Steph Wood.
Agreed, it's a good point you make. You don't necessarily have to officially change bibs. You can just slot back and play the different role. You can hear the crowd yelling for a held ball.
Yeah, beautiful wall jump there by Lightning at the centre pass. It is something they are fantastic at, but Kate Eddy doesn't care. She's just going to wang that straight into Kamwenda under the post.
Yeah, not lacking confidence at all, are they? 12 goals the difference now, 20 already, and we've just started the second quarter. Wood. Cassidy looking for someone back to Wood. Got to get herself in the circle. Cara Conan. Nowhere to go, no one on circle edge. That is brilliant defence from the Melbourne Vixens. Kate Eddy.
Yeah,
well,
I wouldn't have let that one go out if I was Cassidy. Absolute doggedness on defence by the Vixens, and Coach Belinda Reynolds asking the Lightning to really craft their goal and not to force it, but I think their work rate was down. They didn't have options.
And look at the transition in contrast from the Melbourne Vixens. Oh, Irvine. The ball back here for the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Yeah, Carla Pretorius using that mum energy to keep the Lightning in the game.
You've had a couple of great calls this game already. What was the not paying rent? What was the first one?
Living rent free.
There is one for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. They need plenty more just like that. Eddie, Maloney. Austin. Well, closer one-on-one attention coming from Carla Pretorius. The issue, though, at this point is really shutting down Kamwenda. This will make it 14 from 15. Just the one miss. Sherian. Steph Wood on stretch. And another tip from Eddie. And straight away, she turns and runs away. A lot of other teams have talked about how the Melbourne Vixens do that. They make out that every throw-in's there, every centre pass is theirs, every penalty is theirs.
Yeah, they are smart serial campaigners, and your ability to have an extra level of control over the game, whether you are at home or away, and influence it's a skill.
Not at all saying our umpires are persuaded by that sort of behaviour.
I'm not talking about the umpires at all.
The best in the business, our umpires, and they do such a good job. Week in, week out. Steph Wood. Well, that's a good penalty to pull, isn't it? Joe Weston caught outside the circle. Steph Wood makes it 4 from 4. Hasn't missed, also 1 from 1 with that Suncorp super shot.
Yeah, we're seeing a much more competitive start to this second quarter. Goals are even, and they'll be happy for it to continue that way, but knowing that they really will need to peg back, given that Vixens go into the second half so strongly.
Yes, well, that's the alarm bells, isn't it? Ringing already, probably for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Have a look at Kimwenda. Well, they had such a good win over the defending champs in the West Coast Fever last week, and they wouldn't want that just to be a one-off. Conan, out to Cassidy. Needs something coming forward, Wood. Well, through the hands, luckily for her though, went through the hands of Joe Weston as well. Still sitting at that 12, the difference. Wood, a quick double play. Oh. That might have been a little unlucky. It looked like Joe Weston got her hands there first.
I think good fight there, though, by Cara Conan. Could have just given up on that, but getting herself in the contest meant the umpire had to make a choice and the consideration of who the ball should go to. So we have a look there on the Harvey Norman replay.
Oh, I'll take that back. That was all Cara Conan. Oh, the joys of the replays. Hey, what a fight from Ava Black. What a fantastic story for Ava Black as well. Wasn't in the 10. She's been a replacement plenty of times through injury, and again finds herself there, sadly, at the expense of Shannon Eaglen with that ACL injury just a couple of weeks ago. But tell you what, when she's getting opportunity, making the most of it.
Absolutely, and she's entered this game really well. She's bringing a physicality and paying close attention to Liz Watson, and she's not intimidated at all, stepping up against the Diamonds captain.
Cassidy, Wood, Cassidy, Wood again, a little double-double, and then Cara Conan over the top. And that's where that one-on-one is so dangerous and can be let go when you're on the edge of that circle. Well, another HCF tactical timeout. This way, it is in favour of the Melbourne Vixens. And Simone McInnes, not one to call a whole heap of timeouts, is she? So really probably just wanting to put the foot down, maybe remind them that this isn't their best quarter. Let's have a listen.
Work before early on that centre pass, because we're just losing it to the last second to then pop over. So do the early work and get off the body a bit and try and keep working for that depth. Still working for that depth, but do the work early on the centre pass. So we've got the options.
You get that double again, get out, you get it, and then we play it down.
There's ones, we've just got to give those ones that are on. We're sometimes looking for something else, but the ones that are there, give it and keep that ball movement strong and definite on the tape.
Right? Shoot it down, we just want to score it now.
We got a great ball then again, so let's nail it and make them pay.
We knew they were going to come back strong, okay? So we're going to tackle, trick ball in, multiple work rate.
This first centre pass, we turn it over, circle edge, drive, take the depth, work it. Let's go.
Vix on 3, 1, 2, 3, Vix!
Stacey, Simone McInnes is going for the jugular, isn't she? This second quarter, the Lightning lead at 6-5, but she's not happy with that. What does she want from her team?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly interesting. The nature of that Vixens timeout, for me, was very different to what we've seen throughout the season, but she wants them to be ruthless and clinical. She needs Liz to get off of the body and try and get rid of that physicality that Ava Black is bringing, and for them to work the ball to the circle edge.
Sherian out for the centre pass. Steph Wood out of the circle. Well, Steph Wood wants to get on with it here, trying to make the most of taking a quick penalty. Sadly for her, though. Cassidy not ready for it.
I wouldn't be ready if I was a centre either.
They do come off. You've just got to have your wits about you playing with a Steph Wood, don't you? She thinks 2 and 3 passes ahead. Cara Conan makes it 7-5 in this quarter. And there it is, the last 3 going the way of the Sunshine Coast Lightning. It was goal for goal prior to that, and that is another big win here.
Put the ball straight back where you were.
This is where you hope to see Lightning use that swing of momentum there. Great contest between Watson and Cassidy.
You're so right, momentum is such a hard thing, isn't it, to get back. And they just throw the ball away.
Yeah, a couple of aggressive touches, I think, from Sherian. One was into the circle earlier, and that one there to Black. And it's, you know, pressure, that wanting to force that feed and just do things a little bit more than you ordinarily would.
Victorious! Sorry to cut you off, Thief in the night. trying to take it from behind, and it looked like it was semi-clean from this angle. Let's have a look on the Harvey Norman replay.
I would have let that play on, actually. I think it's fantastic anticipation of the ball going in the air, coming off of your player to contest.
Hurricane, a little double there with Cassidy, and another. Really can't find that close to the post space that Hurricane normally exploits.
Yeah, I think what we have seen that's working much better, though, for the Lightning is their ability to service the circle. They don't want to put those low balls and those bounces in. They spoke about it at the quarter time. Steph just wants it in the gut, and for them to keep the Vixens out of the contest.
Goal defence contact in the one.
Carla Pretorius, it feels to me like she's stepped up another level in this second quarter. Really body on body now with Kira Austin having a very good crack at the ball.
Yeah, and what I loved that she said in the pre-game is that she knows that her skills and tools match up against Kira, and she was looking forward to bringing those today. And you know, we'll hopefully see that matchup again at the World Cup later on this year.
Big swing across the circle to Cassidy. Still can't find Cara Conan in her sweet spot. Now they can. Oh yeah, lucky to be able to take the penalty again. Cara Conan.
How do you determine whether the pass, the shot has been taken? What's
I
the
don't
rule for you?
know, because I was a bit two minds for that one. Here's the missing net points. Match leaders, M. Mannix still sitting at the top. Carla Pretorius, as we spoke about, has snuck herself in there in second place. Still all Melbourne Vixens after that. Carla Pretorius now with 2 games, and 2 of those are clean intercepts. There is the siren, start of the Power 5. 10 goals the difference here. The Sunshine Coast Lightning, well, they'd love to bank a couple of those Suncorp super shots, wouldn't they, right before half-time? And keep it interesting.
Really great drive there by Cassidy. So important to be hitting that circle edge to give them the best possibility of a good feed in.
Well, yeah, you're right. They've very rarely stuffed up a feed from on the circle edge, have they, the Sunshine Coast Lightning? It's been the ones off the circle edge. It's made the difference. Kate Eddy, she saw Ava Black coming screaming at her. Austin, Maloney. They're both focused on Kira Austin then. And that's the difference in the defensive structures when we get to this Power 5 time. A lot of the time, the attention really based around protecting the white arc in the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at your best, you don't go all the one way. You don't just want to concede and let those 1-point goals go in. But the 2 points are devastating.
Yeah, good strength shown then from Cara Conan as well. She's having to fend Emily Mannix off, who had a brilliant first quarter. Maloney, Watson, Kira Austin outside the circle. And you were talking about passes forced a little bit earlier for the Sunshine Coast. That Lightning, that one, touch perfect.
Yeah, it was, and we blinked and I missed it, but we've seen Katie Underhaney re-enter back in at goalkeeper.
So maybe a little bit of time just to watch what Kimwenda's doing, take some notes, get back out there, play the game a little differently maybe.
Yeah, we'll see if she had the same chat with herself that El Caldwell did in the game yesterday when she came off and then re-entered the game like a completely different person.
Massive shot there from Steph Wood. Cara Conan, will she take the one? I sunk it for her before it actually did. Still winning this quarter by the 2 goals, the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Great goal defense.
9 the difference.
Oh, beautiful view here from commentary. Ava Black coming off and trying to cut the line for that interception, but unfortunately, call didn't go her way.
Maui Kimwenda, we mentioned in the pre-game, 21 goals away from 3,000 career goals. The next one, this one, ball in hand, will be her thousandth. That's not easy to say.
And
Congratulations, Maui. Should be completely oblivious. I
No
can
love
assure
from
you.
the Lightning crowd.
No, I think most people will be oblivious. She certainly will be. There's a big job at hand. Look at her. She wants this win desperately, doesn't she? The Malawi international. Such a superstar of our game, though. It's so great to see so many of these internationals over here playing in the Suncorp Super Netball. We're spoiled for international talent. Conan up the middle. Steph Wood. I feel like that ball is a long time in the air. Steph Wood be brilliant to drain this one, and she does. Steph Wood gets it back to 8 goals. Suncorp super shot. Number 2 for Steph Wood.
Claps her hands together in the back of the shot there. Very, very pleased.
Contact goal shooter.
The Melbourne Vixens defence has been rock solid, hasn't it? Even in the midst of the court, and again, it's the hands from Joe Weston. Just takes all the air out of the sails for the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
You're absolutely right, but they are back in the game in this quarter. They're much more switched on and holding Vixens to account. Just that disappointing start, which is what's really showing on the scoreboard at the moment.
9 the difference, just over 1 minute to play in the first half of this contest, round 9. Cara Conan. Oh, through the hands of Steph Wood. She doesn't like it. Looked at the umpire, wondering where the call was going to come from.
Yeah, I think this is where we see Vixens give a masterclass. The ball, if it isn't completely in 2 of your hands and in possession, it's up for contest, and the Vixens will fight to the bitter end for that ball.
Well, they're fast running out of time, though, the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Time has been called, though, by Josh Browering, so completely aware of the clock running down.
And that was the impact and the work rate by Dehaney there to cause a turnover.
Oh, Joe Weston! Well, it was M. Mannix in the first quarter, now Joe Weston picking up plenty of ball for the Melbourne Vixens. Kamwenda. It rims out, but she takes the rebound, and bound to be the last shot of the game as we can see the clock ticking down. So they sink this, and the Melbourne Vixens will get that 10-point buffer back as they head into half-time. So, interesting, the Melbourne Vixens' second quarter wasn't their best, and they lost it again only by the 1 point, but they managed to keep quite a nice little buffer as they head into half-time. They'll be very happy that they weathered a bit of a storm from the Sunshine Coast Lightning after they made wholesale changes. All right, let's get down now to Sharon Finnan, who's with one of the superstars for the Melbourne Vixens.
Thank you, Catherine. I have Emily Mannix here with me, one of the stars of the Vixens in that first half. Em, you're really creating some havoc for those shooters in that first half, particularly the first quarter. How's it feel out there, and what are you happy with?
Yeah, I think we knew we had to hit them hard. Lightning have a lot to play for today with a few, personal things going on in their camp. But yeah, we knew we had to hit them hard. They're playing for their season, we're playing for ours. But I was proud of our efforts in the first quarter. Second quarter we went away from that. They stepped up the defensive pressure down that end, but we were just forcing it in when we didn't need to. So half-time we'll go in and have a look and make sure we just work the circle edge, feed it in for a nice easy pass.
So what do you think Simone will actually be telling you to do once you get into that change room?
Yeah, probably that. I think our transition out of defence dropped off a bit in that second quarter. The first quarter I thought it was really good, and I reckon we just, like I said, forced too many balls in. Carla and, KD there stepped up, so we need to just play it short and sharp and not force those long balls in.
All the best for the second half.
Thanks, Aaron. Ta.
Thank you to Sharon. A big thank you to Emily Mannix. What an opening quarter she had in that goalkeeper role. Well, it's half-time here, and so far it is all the Melbourne Vixens up by the 10 goals. Stay with us. Welcome back, round 9. Sunshine Coast Lightning at home to the Melbourne Vixens, and we're off already in the third quarter, and there's some ground to make up here for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Find themselves down by the 10 goals. Kamwenda continues on her merry way, 23 from 25 goals. Let's get straight down to Belinda Reynolds, the head coach of the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Thanks for joining us, Belinda. Just want to ask you about your opening quarter. It's not what we usually see from you, normally really strong in the starting quarter. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, I think it was a lack of focus. Steph brought the group in at the end of the warm-up and said, let's focus. So she obviously felt that in the warm-up. So, yeah, we just didn't transfer in that first quarter, and you can't do that against a team like the Vixens.
B, we saw you ring the changes in the second quarter. I think coaches often are worried about making one change, let alone several, in case it changes the momentum of the match. But for you, it worked in a really positive way, and they bedded in straight away. You must be pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had to deal with change this whole season, so I think us adapting to those, we've done really well. And I thought Ava gave us some great punch in that wing D, as did moving Halsey forward to the centre.
Is the fact that Vixens are known to have a really strong second half of the game something that you guys consider and you talk about in preparation for coming back out in quarter 3 and 4?
Yeah, it is, and that's why I was so disappointed at the start, but it is what it is, and we have to take it to them now and, yeah, take some risks in defence and we'll treasure the possession much more. I thought we were poor with our turnover count at the beginning of the game.
Belinda, thanks for your time. All the best for the second half.
Thanks, Kath.
Well, call me crazy, but she sounded a little flat, didn't she, Belinda Reynolds?
Yeah, I agree. I think just disappointed in the way in which the girls started the game, knowing the task that's ahead of them in the second half. And yeah, I think she is a little bit flattened down, unfortunately, but nothing that a few super shots and a fantastic third quarter can't fix.
Well, that's right. So many of those records and those trends that we talk about in terms of teams being good at particular quarters have changed throughout the season. So there's no reason the Sunshine Coast Lightning can't put their foot down and finish strongly here. Sherian. Pretorius takes it under the pressure of Kira Austin. Well, they're stuck with the same lineup to stay, so obviously very happy with what she saw from the changes made.
Yeah, absolutely. The second quarter was night and day from the first, and so I would absolutely have kept the lineup out there the same as it is. And Vixens know the challenge now. They know the differences, and they're keen to lift that intensity in the second half.
Lightning scored 6 in the first quarter, scored 14 in the second quarter. Kamwenda. Dehaney trying to challenge from behind, and that's a hard place to challenge from, isn't it? There's only one player that I feel can do that exceptionally well, and that is Shamira Sterling for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Yeah,
Shamira is incredible at getting up there, and Courtney Bruce's footwork is fantastic in those moments as well. And Kamwenda was actually, the feedback from the umpire then was that it was just her knee, so she can absolutely get up and in there in that contest, but maybe just change the way in which her body looks to get the umpire off of it.
Wood across to Sherian under enormous pressure from Kate Eddy. Wood, the step back. The classic Steph Wood step back and nails it. Just the one miss, sitting at 10 from 11 in regular time. Kamwenda out of the circle. One of the few sprayed balls we've seen from the Melbourne Vixens. Ava Black, hasn't she brought some punch? Loving what I'm seeing from her.
Yeah, I think her physicality that she's bringing to the game and the fight is incredibly important. I think when you're down, you need people to be able to drive that energy, which can be draining in itself. And she's come on full of beans, and she's doing the most to try and break this connection between Liz and Kate.
Sometimes it is as simple as just one specky intercept or something to lift aside, isn't it? And you're right. She's working overtime, trying to spark something here for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Cassidy, long ball to Conan. But it's all green when they turn around, though. Melbourne Vixens have got themselves in that beautiful front defensive position.
Yeah, they are, and they're such a rangy defensive unit. Their arms are out and everywhere, limbs everywhere, which just puts that second of doubt in your mind and means that you completely miss that passing opportunity.
Austin, Watson, Oh, both really snug together there, weren't they? Kamwenda and Austin, not a great deal of room to get a ball through.
No, and Dehaney tempting that up and over from behind again.
Goal for goal in this third quarter. There's Kim Borgia. May not be coming on, but the players do regular warm-ups just in case they're called upon. We want to make sure they're coming in ready to go. Cassidy. Cara Conan is not having an easy night of it. Don't be fooled by the smile on her face.
Yeah, I was going to say, you wouldn't know about it. She's always got that grin on her face. She knows that the role of a shooter is not an easy one, as we see her take that tumble again in the Harvey Norman replay.
Let's get down to Sharon Finnan. Oh, she wanted to talk about the Vixens' defence right as the Lightning defence came alive, Sharon.
Yeah, Kath, I was just watching their defence, and if you watch next time off the centre pass, they've got the ability to switch into that box defence and just really clog that middle up and force it wide, but then to be able to transition quickly into one-on-one when they need to.
Step forward, quick 1-2, and that's what we're used to seeing from the pairing for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Such a great understanding. And they've got the centre pass to follow here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Yeah, and that beautiful moment, that turnover there caused by Ava Black. She had her hands up and straight over that ball of Kira, who wasn't fully impressed, and letting the umpire know that she thought it was a contact of play, but the umpire countered with a footwork call, and possession went back into the hands of the Lightning, and they'll be really hoping to make it too.
Here come the Sunshine Coast Lightning, and with that, this crowd starting to get very vocal. Well, we saw this trend not that long ago, goal for goal, and then the Lightning with 3 on the trot. They need to make that 4 or 5 here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Kira Austin's going to put a halt to that, though.
Yeah, the Vixens absolutely won't be panicking in these moments, but the Lightning will definitely want to capitalise off that change of momentum, the vibe, the energy, playing at home. UniSC Arena, for me, was always one of the most difficult places to play, an incredibly parochial, loud crowd who have got no love for the team playing.
They don't, but interesting to note the games that have been played in this arena, 7 of them, the Melbourne Vixens have won 4. So they're not too worried about the home crowd. Here's the score breakdown, and you can see it was that blowout first quarter that have got the Melbourne Vixens in the position they're in right now. Sherian to Wood. Sherian again at the top of the circle and back to Wood. We've seen plenty of double plays between those two, haven't we? Well, Joe Weston's movement really confusing where that ball's got to go on the feed. Again, Steph Wood though, a little step back. Brings it back to 8, the difference.
Yeah, it's an incredibly challenging position to be in when you've had one blowout quarter, but actually then the game that you're playing and you're putting out there is much more your product. It's effective because when you look up on the scoreboard, that effort and energy doesn't feel rewarded. You're really having to combat what was, you know, a really significant slip in one quarter.
Kira Austin, the pass off. Well, we spoke about the combination up the other end of Wood and Conan. Kamwenda and Austin just as good, and there's Kamwenda sitting at the top now of the missing net points. And Mannix slipped down to 5th, but still just the one Lightning player, Carla Pretorius. Well, we want Cara Conan on that list after that move.
Yeah, and that's what we were alluding to earlier in the game. We really wanted to see Cara get on the move and to lose her defender and have that beautiful free drive to the post.
It's her biggest strength by far and away, isn't it? Her footwork. She's great on the hold as well, but I feel like where she really exploits her defender is that quick footwork, the dodges under the post.
Yeah, absolutely. She's an athletic shooter, and she should always know that that should be her default to go to if she's feeling challenged. Just get back on the move and use that athleticism.
Keeping that 8-goal buffer, the Melbourne Vixens. Power 5 time. Right now, the siren has sounded. I don't think any team, Ava Black, well, she just continues to challenge, doesn't she? I don't feel like any team's going to be overly desperate to shoot any super shots at the moment. 8 points is doable in my book, just in regular play. Sure, if it's there, I feel like Steph Wood's going to back herself to shoot them.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing is Vixens really take that step up on the level of standard of netball that they're putting out there today. So I wouldn't see them back away from any twos. I don't think they want to show their quality, and they know that they have so much of the season left ahead of them.
Well, the best super shot percentage sits with Kamwenda. There is the live ladder. So the Melbourne Vixens will stay in 4th, but they make that gap just a little bigger if they get the win here. Conan takes the one. Yeah, Kamwenda sitting at 63% for super shots. And then it's down to 55 for Steph Wood, 40% for Kira Austin.
What is a realistic percentage or a good percentage, do you think, these days to be sat at in a super shot?
Well, the better players are sitting up in the high 60s. And I mean, I think that's incredible because half the time when they're shot, it's in those real pressure moments of the game when there's double defence on. Steph Wood, one of those pressure moments of the game. Oh, thought about it, didn't it? Bounced around the ring.
Yeah, a really tricky one to try and rebound as we see Kate Maloney having a crack at going in the circle.
Oh, well, there it is. The crowd called for it. And Josh Bowring put whistle to mouth. He thought so too. 3-second call, and Steph Wood in a similar position to what she was just moments ago. This one falls. The Suncorp super shot to Steph Wood. And now the margin sits at 7. Over the top it goes to Kamwenda. Oh, this crowd is really getting into it now. Very, very vocal. A couple of misses, Kamwenda, and Dehaney not happy. She sinks it now. So back to the 8 goals. At 8 goals, they can't narrow it, can they? It's been sitting there for a while.
Yeah, they are 2 goals up in this quarter.
Steph Wood. Oh, that one was sweet. A step back to make it even further away. I'll tell you what, the Confident Girls Foundation will be very happy. $100 donated by Suncorp for every Suncorp super shot sunk across the season.
Can't quite see in the back of the shot, but we've had a change going into this last minute and a half. And Mannix to the bench with Liv Lewis coming onto the court.
Quick 1-2 between Austin and Kamwenda. Well, Liv Lewis finding herself now on a Steph Wood, so that is a completely different style of player to the ones that we've seen Liv Lewis on in recent weeks and having real impact on. Oh, smart work, Cassidy. Oh, she dropped the ball. Had she picked it up again, it would have been a replay call, so she just tried to protect it until another Sunshine Coast Lightning player got there.
Yeah, which you're not allowed to do, and I think that's rubbish.
I agree with you completely, but the call was a contact, so it was deemed that she was pushing into the Vixens trying to protect the ball. Tough to do that cleanly. Oh, and Steph Wood, in the blink of an eye, has just gone to the bench as well. So we'll get Sharon Finnan White onto that. She can maybe keep us up to date on Steph Wood and how she's going. Charlie Bell now takes to the court for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. There she is, young Charlie Bell in at goal shooter. Well, not what you want to see from Steph Wood.
No, looking quite a bit of discomfort, and you know, really was a drive, has been a driver for the Lightning in this section of the game to bring them back into it.
16 seconds to play. Melbourne Vixens will want to get to the post shortly. Kamwenda, is she aware of the clock? What's going to have to be a Suncorp super shot. The penalty, Dehaney! Oh, well, she'll be disappointed with herself. This is a carbon copy of the fourth quarter against the West Coast Fever last week, and the result's exactly the same. Kira Austin stepping into the pressure moment. And there's the injury too to Steph Wood, so almost like she copped a hit to the ribs. As we said, we'll keep you across that right now, though. It is three-quarter time here at Uni SC. The Sunshine Coast Lightning down by the 10 goals, 37-47. Three-quarter time brought to you by Origin Energy as we just see the injury to Steph Wood that happened right before the break. You can see her trying to get in there to pick up the ball from Cassidy. It looked like taking a little bit of a knock to the ribs, maybe a little winded, and we're going to get right down now to Sharon Finn-White to give us an update on Steph Wood. Good thing is she's back on the court right now.
Yeah, thanks, Kath. I was just having a look. The physio was paying close attention to her lower back when she copped a little bit of a knock, but she's up and about. She's out at goal attack, so she must be doing okay. Coach Belinda Reynolds really wants them to have a direct line of attack, really get their hips around, look down court first and punch down court, and also their defenders to mix it up between one-on-one and area defence.
Thank you, Sharon. Great news to see Steph Wood back on the court. I saw her over there taking a couple of Panadol, probably some anti-inflams as well to get her through, but spot on in what you say, Sharon. She's now at goal attack, so she's going to be huffing and puffing a little bit more. She'll certainly feel it if she's taken a knock to the ribs. But as you mentioned, Stacey, vital part of this Sunshine Coast Lightning team, and they'll need her in this moment if they want to get this margin closer than the 10 goals. Melbourne Vixens' strongest quarter is their fourth quarter. They've won 6 of the 8 so far this season, so keep an eye on that too. Austin to an undefended Liz Watson. Kamwenda, well, that was just all too easy for the Melbourne Vixens, Stace.
Yeah, absolutely right, and it doesn't give Dehaney that much of a chance when you've just got a Liz Watson stood unmarked on the circle edge for the feed.
You're very hard to stop when the ball's flying down at you like that. Pretorius, nowhere to go, all the way back to black. Sherian, what's clogged here for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Sherian again, Cassidy, Wood. Cara Conan, the big split. Well, Cara Conan back at goal shooter and Olivia Lewis stays at goalkeeper. So let's see if that makes a difference to the way Cara Conan's been playing and what sort of impact she has. Well, through the hands of Kamwenda. This is a big opportunity for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Wood doing a lot of work. It's a long way down the court. Conan. Sherian at the top of the circle. Wood again. Conan. Well, there it is. That's where she comes alive. She exploits that baseline. Something she wasn't able to do under the defensive pressure of Emily Mannix.
No, exactly right. And that was such beautiful timing from her to be available for Steph to just feed that flat ball into the circle and finds herself in a really comfortable shooting position.
Time per goal, you can see on screen, it's exceptionally fast in this game. Conan, another. So they narrowed that gap to 7. 4-1 in this fourth quarter to the Sunshine Coast Lightning. What a strong start. Austin, Kamwenda. Kamwenda just gets herself back in the circle and sets up, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's so incredibly strong on that hold, which is where she's able to draw so many penalties, but she can take ball really cleanly in the air as well.
Shooting stats, 93% for Kamwenda. Cara Conan, well, they're finding her with relative ease in this fourth and final quarter. Still 7 the difference. Austin, well, talk about finding people with relative ease. Liz Watson on the circle edge, and that's been a couple of times undefended.
Yeah, starting to get the better of that matchup with Black, but also there's a bit of a mismatch happening at the centre pass, which is not helping their cause whatsoever. And we see Emily Mannix jump up straight away in the background after Liv is beaten on that ball to the baseline again.
Let's have a look and see if that change comes between the two. Well, it just has happened in the back of play. Keep an eye on that when we get back up the Vixens end.
It's a pretty tricky position to be in as a player, you know, when you've been beaten a few times, but the Vixens are wanting to set their standard high this season, and they're not willing to take such an easy access to goal.
Well, there she is then, Mannix. On your screen, back in goalkeeper. Brilliant start to the game for her. Well, they're still confident to go to Cara Conan now, so it's almost like they've found a little bit of rhythm, they've found the touch.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be a job on Em's hands to re-enter the game now the way in which she started. And talking of goalkeeper switches, we've got Ash Irving, who's come back into the game instead of Dehaney.
Katie and Dehaney was our Telstra player to watch as a reminder. And clearly been beaten by Kamwenda today. Been off the court a couple of times. There's your quarter score breakdown, and been fairly even aside from that first quarter. The Melbourne Vixens took it by their 11 goals. Wood waits for somebody. Who is it? Sherian. And again, the brilliant thing and the experience that I'm loving from the Sunshine Coast Lightning team is that Em Mannix has come back onto the court, but they haven't been spooked by what she did in that first quarter. They're playing it fresh. Yeah,
you're right. It's a really great level of confidence that they have in each other, that they built the game, built the connection, and they should continue to let it go unless something changes.
Kamwenda, she's fired up for this one, isn't she? Sherian, you can see she wanted to let that one go quickly to Wood. Oh, and again, it's the touch pass has really come into play now for the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Yeah, real smart work down here in this attacking end. They're doing a much better job in the way in which they started, but they're going to need to start getting some defensive impact on the match.
7 goals the difference. And that is extremely doable if they can stay in touch. And you've got the likes of a Steph Wood in that power 5 time. Great take, Kamwenda. Well, this is going to be an easy one for Kamwenda, surely. The Harvey Norman replay, Kamwenda up strong.
Really good confidence there from Maloney as well to send that ball in. The placement was great. Ash Irving is a tall, rangy defender, but Kamwenda still coming out the better of that partnership.
Oh, and Mannix! Well, sadly for her, she took a big piece of the body, didn't she? So she'll be penalised outside the circle. That's a 2-on-1 for the Lightning. Easy picking, surely. Steph Wood.
Yeah, she completely had eyes for the ball. No idea that she was going to run into a Lightning player there, but yes, I wondered if the umpire was going to spot that. Not wholly within the circle there after the centre pass, so the centre's foot, whatever size it is, has to be completely within the circle before they can take it, and the umpires were hot on that moment.
That's quite a big error, isn't it, for someone as experienced as Kate Maloney?
It is, but I think it also just shows their urgency just to get on with the game. It's one of those things that you think is second nature. There's lots of elements of the game that you don't really think about, but it is important because it's an unforced error that can absolutely be eradicated.
It's an unforced error that the Sunshine Coast Lightning have scored on. A centre pass to follow. So this could get them back into a very nice position. 2.5 minutes away from the power 5. Let's get down to Sharon Finnan, liking what you're seeing from the goal shooter for the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Yeah, Cass, she's really stepped up, hasn't she? I think what the difference is this half compared to the first half is Cara's on the move a lot more. She's got a little bit more space, and what she's doing, that movement, is splitting the defenders, so she's opening up that space for her to drive into.
Couldn't agree more. And the difference is too, the feed to her has been far more accurate. The Sunshine Coast Lightning winning this quarter 12-7. So, gosh, this game's just flipped all those trends on its head, hasn't it? The Sunshine Coast Lightning, their first quarter was their best. They lost it. The Melbourne Vixens' best quarter is their fourth, and at the moment they're down by 5 in this fourth quarter.
And I think that's just what makes SSN so exciting. There are the stats, there are the trends, there are, you know, players who are in form, but ultimately on the day, that doesn't matter. And moment to moment, it can change in a heartbeat.
Well, this game, as we mentioned in the pre-game, so important for the Sunshine Coast Lightning to stay in touch of that top four, but also not to let that gap broaden anymore between the bottom four and the top four. Well, held up momentarily here, the Sunshine Coast Lightning, but they don't look panicked. Wood. Cassidy, back to Wood.
For me, Cassidy's looking a little bit tired in that centre court, and I think that's where they're potentially missing, you know, that ease to break over the line, having multiple options. But I mean, I've never run out a game at centre, so.
There's a reason for that. I don't think we're built for centre. Cara Conan, she is built for goal shooter and continues to dominate in this fourth quarter. It's an HCF tactical timeout to the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Cara Conan just scored the 3 goals in that first quarter, 7 in the third, 9 already in this fourth quarter, so has built beautifully. Let's get down and have a listen to
Well done,
Belinda Reynolds.
girls. Listen up. Really good patience and discipline to punish on those ones. Well done. Keep the work rate. We've always got that back up to the line. Well done, Ava and KP. All right, listen up. So we've got to go for it. So we're going to go for it. Yes. Doesn't mean no. Keep it the same. Doesn't mean just where you land you need to take it. If it's a shitty position, play it out. So be ready on the edge so you get a good shot at it. Nice and strong on rebounds, Kazi. In defence, listen up. We are going a hard first phase focus. We're getting really good job on that first phase. And then we're going to have a crack at something. So if they get depth, that's our GK's ball. We're going so hard first phase, and then we're stepping up and in their grill, looking at those parallel balls. We know that they all want to keep possession. We can't allow that. We need to control the time of this game, and we need tempo right up on us, yes? All right? Don't let them chip. Get on your play. Let's go. 1, 2,
Stacey, interesting when we crossed to Belinda Reynolds and spoke to her before, we commented that she looked a little flat. Oh, she doesn't look flat anymore, does she? She looks fired up.
No, absolutely.
Here's the Net points match leaders. It's still Kamwenda and Watson, but 2 Sunshine Coast Lightning players have snuck their way in there. It was Pretorius, now Sherian and Wood. And that is the story of why they've got themselves back in this contest. The Sunshine Coast Lightning, 5 the difference. And just over 40 seconds out of the Power 5 time. You heard Belinda Reynolds say then, we are going for it. There's no grey area there, is there?
Absolutely not, and I think the timing of the timeout was excellent. They all have complete clarity now going into this last 5 minutes of the game, and also a really great time just to have a small breather, because you want to have really great clarity of mind and make brilliant decisions under immense pressure.
The confidence still to let the ball go over to Cara Conan. I would too, given the form she's in this final quarter. Sitting at 93% for the game, Cara Conan.
Obstruction in the attack.
5 the difference, 5 minutes to go. Right on the siren there for the Power 5. Hannah Mundy into the game at wing attack for the Melbourne Vixens. Some fresh legs right in this pressure moment.
Absolutely, what a time to come on into this game.
Well, that change has shifted Kate Maloney back to wing defence and Kate Eddy to the bench. So they've really gone strong defensively here. They know what's about to happen, don't they?
Yeah, I think some smart changes there by the Vixens to try and stem the flow and the efficiency that the Lightning attack have been able to find in the second half of the game.
Oh, Steph Wood, she sinks it. She slubs the hands together and it gets the bench on their feet. A Suncorp super shot gets them to 4 the difference. Well, it's the closest margin we've seen.
Oh, wow.
Happy Mother's Day.
She was actually nowhere near her player then, but had really clear clarity of the ball travelling across that circle and took a beautiful intercept.
Carla Pretorius, what an inspiration to all of the mums out there. And what a timely intercept. Steph Wood, can she? No, she does!
I'm not so sure that she even looked at that post then. She knew that shot was going in. So much confidence in that moment.
Steph Wood, 6 Suncorp Super Netball shots. But it's the time around them, Stacey. The timing of them. It's a 2-point game. Just over 3 minutes to play. They score here, they make it 1, and then suddenly the pressure is on the Melbourne Vixens. Steph Wood, can she make it another? She can! Belinda Reynolds out of her seat. Steph Wood off court moments ago with a back niggle. You'd be none the wiser looking at her now.
Contact,
We're even. Kira Austin, well, as cool as a cucumber, has quietened this crowd with that one shot. 2 the difference. Cara Conan, what does she do? Does she take the 1? No. Let's get it to the hot hand of Steph Wood. Can she make this 4 in a row?
Wowee. We are seeing a masterclass in the super shots at the moment.
Suncorp super shot number 8 for Steph Wood. Kamwenda takes the 1, and with that, it is a 1-point ball game.
Yeah, so a missed interception opportunity by the Haney there outside the circle, but for me, almost a gift because it left Kamwenda clear under the post, which meant that Vixens just took a quick, easy 1. Now the ball is in Lightning's hands, and I suspect Steph Wood's going to go for another 2.
Well, Cara Conan under the post, she could have just taken the 1. And I feel like she should now. That's a couple of opportunities. Shoot the ball. You're still at even. Well, gosh, it'd be dreadful if they lost possession here because they've been passing around too much here. The Sunshine Coast Lightning, they've had 3 scoring opportunities and haven't taken them.
You couldn't call that in the moment and unfortunately forced that feed. Kara's falling out of court, nobody to back her up. Vixens doing Vixens things.
Well, fortunately though, it is a fumble through the hands of Liz Watson. They only need the 1 here.
I don't think they're going to go for a 1.
No, well, Steph Wood, they need the rebound at the very least. And look at Steph Wood. 9 Suncorp super shots. And the Lightning are up by 1. The first time they've been in the lead this entire game with 30 seconds to play. The Melbourne Vixens, they only need a 1 and we go to extra time.
Surely Simone has chatted to the Vixens around the need not to go to extra time based on that flight time out of Brisbane this evening.
Well, she'll be wanting to kill me right now because I told her I wanted extra time to see them miss their plane. Well, who's going to be the saviour, the match winner this week? Is it Kamwenda? Well, she's running out of time. They've got to stay clean here. It's exactly the same result. Kira Austin has again snuck the win for the Melbourne Vixens, the 2nd week in a row. Wow.
I am stunned. What an end to that game.
Unbelievable pressure on the shoulders of Kira Austin for 2 weeks in a row. And she's completely oblivious to the fact the Vixens now make that 3 wins in a row. And don't they make that gap even bigger between the top 4 and the bottom 4 on the ladder? Oh my gosh, every single player just looks completely defeated and out of breath, don't they? Even the Melbourne Vixens. That was a tough game to get through.
Yeah, it was just fight, grind, hanging in there to the bitter end, and I don't think anyone knew for sure whether that shot counted based on when the siren went off, but there is a game clock and that's how the game is judged.
Spare a thought for Steph Wood. Wow, what a heroic effort just to get themselves back in the game there off the back of the Steph Wood brilliance. In that fourth quarter, 5 from 5 super netball shots from Steph Wood. And she very, very nearly won the game for her. Gosh, you can see the frustration on the face. And Belinda Reynolds as well. Gosh, they were so close.
Yeah, it is no consolation when you come out on the wrong side of the scoreboard, but Lightning should be so impressed with the performance that they put out on court today.
Let's get down to Sharon Finnan-White. She'll be with one very happy Melbourne Vixen.
Thanks, Kath. I have MVP for today, Mwai Kumwenda. Mwai, you love giving everyone a heart attack, getting that winning goal on the last buzzer. How did it feel out there today? It was quite intense and a real grind, wasn't it?
Yeah, that game was very hard, but I'm just proud of the girls that Kira take that shot and we won the game, so it's good to get a win.
The trends tell us that the Vixens normally start slow and come back strong. Today you did the opposite, you started really strong.
Yes, we started well, and I think we have learned a lot from that game, and I think when we're up by 10, we just need to keep our goals there.
A performance from you today, very strong performance, 45 from 48 goals, 72 Nissan net points. You must be pretty happy with your own personal performance.
Yeah, I'm happy of the first quarter, but not the last one. But I'm just proud of the girls, the way they put the effort there. And it was good that we encourage each other that we can do this until the end.
And you take on the Thunderbirds at home next week. They had a pretty solid win against the Firebirds this weekend. What are you expecting from them?
We know that they have got our best defenders there, and we are taking every opportunity to work hard for it, because that's where we are for now. We just need to work hard each quarter to get there.
Well, congratulations on the win. You definitely earned it today, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sharon. Congratulations, Maui Kumwenda, on the MVP. And I don't know about you guys, but I'd quite like to see the end of that game one more time. Here it is, exactly what we saw last week. Kumwenda had the shot. The penalty came. She popped the ball down and gave it to Kira Austin. The pressure on Kira Austin's shoulders in that moment. And look at that. Not even the energy to jump up and celebrate it. What a finish to that game. Let's have a look at the full-time match stats. And Stacey, well, I feel like they would have evened out across that match as that game did. The shooting accuracy to start with, up in the 90s for both teams, exceptional.
Absolutely incredible. Over 90% is world class, and it is what you want to see in pressured games, pressured moments, that you can trust your shooters to go to post and to do the job for you.
And 10 games to the Melbourne Vixens as well, just the 5 to the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Let's have a look at what that means now to the ladder. We saw the Swifts jump into second position yesterday. Adelaide Thunderbirds sitting up the top. The West Coast Fever slipped down into third. There's the Melbourne Vixens still in the same position, but now on equal points to the West Coast Fever, just below them a little on that percentage. And then down to the Sunshine Coast Lightning on the 12 goals. So now 3 wins to separate the top 4 and the bottom 4.